A pleasant day. Today we're going to discuss the chapter 1 of Applied Economics, which is revisiting economics as social science. So this is the lesson 1 of chapter 1.
The introduction said that the applied economics is the study of how individuals and societies allocate limited resources to meet their unlimited wants, focusing on the attainment and use of materials, goods, and service for well-being.
Introduction. Scarcity, the condition of limited resources versus unlimited ones, is a constant in daily life. This fundamental economic problem necessitates the problem of economics, which studies how individual societies and allocate scarce resources to satisfy their wants. Well-known economist Albert Marshall described economics as a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines the parts of the individual and social action that most closely connected with the attainment and use for material requisites of well-being.
Economics is the study of how people use their limited resources to try to satisfy their unlimited wants, and it is a study of how societies use its scarce resources to produce commodities and distribute them among different peoples. And it also helps us solve problem on excess supply and excess demand, and lead it to a balanced supply and demand. In our needs, we do not want oversupply. It means of wastage of income. For entrepreneurs, it is not efficient if their stocks or supply are greater than the actual demand. It is a loss, not revenue.
For our next topic, question of what is economics? Economics is a social science that studies how societies allocate scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants and needs. It examines the production, distribution, and consumption of foods and services, focusing on how individuals, business, and governments make decisions in the face of scarcity. Economics encompasses various branches including microeconomics, which analyze the behavior of individual customers and firms, and in macroeconomics, which studies the overall performance of economies at the national and global level. The key concept in economics includes supply and demand, market equilibrium, economic growth, and inflation, employment, and fiscal and monetary policy. Based on my explanation, ang economics daw po ay isang agham or panlipunan na pag-aaral kung paano ito ginagamit ng mga tao at lipunan at limitado ng mga yaman para matugunan ang ating mga pangangailangan or sa ating business. Katulad na lang ng sa negosyo, binabahagi natin or ginagamit natin ang ating mga produkto at mga services para maibigay sa tao or mas ma-emphasize pa natin na bigyan sila ng magandang product, ng magandang services, at ang ibabalik naman sa atin ng mga binibigyan natin ng mga good services ay ang feedback na maganda. And dito sinusuri natin kung paano tayo magdesisyon para sa negosyo, sa mga tao, kung paano ba tayo kikita doon, and then kung paano natin mapapamahalaan ang ating isang negosyo, and then kung paano tayo hindi magkulang para mapagtuunan natin ng yaman ang ating negosyo.
Social science studies society, how do people live, work, and interact. In economics, we focus on how individuals and groups use limited resources like money, time, land, and materials also to satisfy their unlimited wants. Economics is called social science because it studies people, how they behave, and how they make decisions. It is different from physical science like chemistry and biology because economics deals with human behavior, not a natural phenomena.
Economics as a social science. Economics is a different science from biology and chemistry as there are physical sciences, like psychology and sociology. A social science is, broadly speaking, the study of society and how people behave and influence the world around them. As a social science, economy study how individuals make choices in allocating resources to satisfy their unlimited wants. So, sabi po dito, ang social science daw po ay hindi tulad ng biology o chemistry na physical sciences. Sa halip po, ito po ay katulad ng psychology at sociology dahil pareho po nilang inaalam ang ugali ng tao. Ang economics po ay tinuturing na social science dahil pinag-aaralan po natin or nito ang ugali, kilos at mga desisyon ng tao sa community or sa lipunan. Lalo na kung paano sila gumagamit ng mga limited resources para po sa kanilang mga kailangan. Halimbawa po sa isang bahay, limited po lahat ang gamit dito, lalo na po ang paggamit ng kuryente at tubig. Pinag-aaralan po nila kung paano po nila to gagamitin ng tama na sasakto po sa isang buwan.
Economics is a social science that study the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, focusing on human behavior and how societies use scarce sources to satisfy unlimited wants. It uses scientific methods, including observation and data analysis, but differs from natural sciences due to the complexity and variability of human decision-making and social interaction.
The importance of economics. Economics will help the student understand why there's a need for everybody, including the government, to budget and properly allocate the use of whatever resources are available. Economics is important because it helps us understand how to use limited resources wisely. Hindi lahat ng bagay ay unlimited like pera, food, time, at mga natural resources. Kaya dapat matutunan ng student kung paano mag-budget at magplano para maging responsible sa paggamit ng mga resources. Through economics, naintindihan natin bakit kailangang mag-budget ang bawat tao at pati na rin ang government. At paano nakakapekto ang choices natin sa daily life at sa buong economy ng bansa. For example, isipin natin ng isang student na may 200 allowance sa isang araw. Kailangan niya mag-decide kung paano niya ito gagamitin para sa pamasahe, pagkain, at mga school materials. Dahil dito limited ang pera niya, kailangan niyang unahin ang mga needs niya. Ito mismo ang tinuturo ng economics, making smart decision with limited resources. Isang example ay ang government. Hindi unlimited ang pera ng bansa kaya kailangan natin gumawa ng national budget. Dito nila pinagpapasyahan kung magkano ang ilalagay sa education, health, roads, at sa social services. Kung hindi sila magbabudget ng maayos, maraming sektor ang hindi matutulungan. Kaya mahalaga ang economics kasi tinuturuan tayo kung paano mag-manage ng resources para sa sarili natin at sa buong society.
While on a larger scale, economics is helping us as student na ma-assess kung effective ba ang government policies. Nakakatulong ba ito para maintindihan kung paano dinadevelop ng leaders ang economy para sa ikabubuti ng bansa? Kapag, like for example, kapag tumaas ang presyo ng bilihin, naiintindihan mo kung anong policy ang nakaapekto, like tax changes or import restrictions. And also, economics is helping us na maging rational when it comes to spending, saving, and investing money. Mas madali tayong makakagawa ng smart choices sa pera kapag alam natin ang basic principles. Like, let's say for example, kung dati bili ka agad ng kahit anong makita mo, ngayon, pinag-iisipan mo kung need ba talaga o want mo lang.
The importance of economics. It is important because it helps us understand how the world works, especially when it comes to money, resources, and choices we make every day. Since resources like time, money, food, and materials are limited, economics guided people, business, and governments in using these resources wisely. It teaches us why prices go up or down, why some jobs pay more than others, and how countries grow and develop. For governments, it helped them create better policies, manage public funds, and support communities through programs like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. For individuals, it helps us manage our income, save for the future, and make smarter, especially for financial decisions. Economics matters because it touches every part of life, helping society grow, helping families make better choices, and helping governments build stronger, fairer, and more stable communities.
Nurture of economics. Number 1. Economics is science like any other science. Is a law and principle are arrived at only a long series of observation and experimentations. Economics is considered as science kasi gumagamit ito ng actual observation like collection data para mas maintindihan kung paano nagdi-decide ang isang tao. For example, sa isang hotel, napansin ng isang manager na mas pinipili ng guest ang mga rooms na may updated features tulad ng smart TV and lighting. So, inobserbahan ito for several weeks at napansin niyang mas mabilis mabook at mas mataas ang guest satisfaction ratings ng mga newly renovated rooms kumpara sa old style rooms dahil consistent ang result and maganda ang feedback. So, nag-decide na innovate pa ang ibang rooms. Number 2. Economics is classified as social science because it deals with study of man life and how he lives with other man. Economics is social science because it studies people, lalo na yung mga everybody decisions, hindi ginagamit ng machines ang pinag-aaralan, kundi behavior na tao, kung paano sila mag-budget, bumili, at kung paano nila pinaprioritize. Like, for example, ako as a college student, 100 lang yung bangko. So, gusto ko bumili ng milk tea pero need ko bayaran yung mga membership and renewals. So, nag-decide na lang ako na bayaran muna dahil mas importante yon. So, dito pumapasok ang pagde-decide ko based on needs and wants.
These are the third one of nature of economics. Economics as a social science is the study of the relationship between people during the production, distribution of consumption of wealth in the human society. Sabi daw po dun is ang economics is a social science that study how people interact with one another in society when producing good and services distribution then to another and consuming or using them to satisfy their needs and wants. It looks at how individuals, group, and even government make choose about limited resources and how these choose effect and wealth and well-being whole community. Parang sabi daw po is ang ekonomiya ay isang agham or ang ekonomiya ay pag-aaral tungkol sa kung paano namumuhay ang mga tao at paano nila ginagamit ang mga bagay na mayroon sila. Ang halimbawa po dun is pinahayag ang mga nagawa is paano naipapasa o naibibigay ang mga produkto ng isa ibang tao tulad ng mga palengke o tindahan. Ginagamit ng mga tao ang mga ito o paano bumibili ng mga gumagamit ang mga tao ng mga bagay na kailangan at gusto nila. Pinag-aaralan din sa ekonomiya kung paano nagdedesisyon ang mga tao kapag kulang ang mga bagay tulad ng pera, oras at pagkain. Tinitingnan kung paano nila inaayos ang kanilang pangangailangan para maging maayos ang buhay ng bawat isa sa buong komunidad.
Macroeconomics. What is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics, this examines the whole economy. It focuses the economic growth. And this branch of economics is to study the overall functioning of the economy. It focuses on large-scale aggregates and examines the national and international economics issues, including the inflation, economic growth, unemployment, national income, and etc.
Microeconomics ay studies kung paano nagde-decide ang isang tao or business kung ano ang bibilhin, gagawin, at paano gagamitin ang limited na sources. Tinitingnan din ito paano naapektuhan ang presyo sa market dahil sa choices ng consumers at procedures. In short, focus ito sa small units like buyers and sellers.
Production is a process of combining inputs or resources to create a product or goods that meets customers' needs and wants. So, sa production, may tinatawag tayong inputs or yung mga resources na gagamitin natin para makabuo ng isang product. So, inputs are factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So, land refers to the natural resources na ginagamit sa production like electricity and water. Capital naman is yung mga physical assets or materials na kakailanganin sa production like mga machinery, ingredients, and whatsoever. Labor naman is yung manpower na kakailanganan natin para makapag-produce ng isang product. And last is yung entrepreneurship, which is about the pricing and marketing strategy para sa product. So, mahalaga tong mga factors na to para makapag-produce tayo ng mga product na may i-offer natin sa market.
Outputs in production refer to the goods and services created after using various inputs such as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. They are the final results of the production process and are made to satisfy the needs and wants of consumers. For example, when a bakery uses flour, workers, and ovens, the outputs are the bread, cakes, and pastries it produces. In the same way, a factory that uses machines and workers produces outputs like phones, clothes, or furniture. Even services count as outputs when a teacher uses knowledge and time to educate students. The output is the educational service provided. In simple terms, outputs are the finished products of services that come out of the effort and resources used in production.
So, next naman is distribution. So, distribution refers to the marketing of goods and services to different economic outlets for the allocation of individual customers. In monetary terms, this is the allocation of income among persons in the household. So, meaning, when we say distribution, it refers to how goods and services are delivered and allocated to different economics units, especially consumers. Kung sa production is ginagawa pa lamang ang produkto, dito naman sa distribution is tinutukoy kung paano makakarating ang mga produkto at serbisyo sa mga taong nangangailangan nito. So, in short, distribution is the process of moving, delivering, and allocating goods and income. So, for example, so, merong bigas sa, yung kapag ang SM bonus rice ay galing pa ng Nueva Ecija, so, dumadaan pa ito mula sa rice mill, tapos dinadala sa mga warehouse gamit ang delivery trucks, at saka naman ipinapasa sa mga iba't ibang SM supermarket. So, this process from milling, transportation, storing, hanggang sa pag-display na sa shelf is a part of distribution.
Distribution is not just about delivering products. It's about making sure goods reach the right people at the right time and understanding how income is divided among members of society. Without proper distribution, hindi iikot ang economy. Why is distribution important? Kasi kahit maganda ang production, kung hindi naman maayos ang distribution, hindi makakarating ang goods sa consumers. And it helps maintain stable prices. It ensures availability ng products. At sa income distribution naman, mahalaga ito para sa fairness at social stability. Example ng distribution. Income distribution. Sa government workers, may standardized salary grade. For example, a teacher 1 earns less than a principal. Ito ay structured income distribution based on position and responsibility.
Exchange, the process of transferring good and service to a person or person in return for something. At present, the medium of exchange in the market is money. This means we can exchange our money with good and service. And exchange is the process of giving a goods or service to someone in return for something. It means you can give something and you receive something back. And today, the most common medium of exchange is money. Instead of trading items directly, people now use to pay for goods and service.
Ms. Arellano explained what is exchange. So I'm giving example of exchange. Example of this is Lola Maria is selling vegetable at the market and customer comes to us. How much is kalabasa and sitaw? And Lola Maria said 700 po lahat. And the customer gave her money, exactly 700, and Lola Maria exchanged her vegetable. So this is the example that the money can exchange, or the goods can be exchanged for money.
Consumption refers to proper utilization of economic goods. However, goods and service could not be utilized unless you pay for it. Consumption is vital because it is the ultimate goals of production. It drives demands, signals business, what to make, fuels economic growth by creating revenue, and determines market success.
So, i-discuss ko lang yung about sa consumption. Ano nga bang meron sa consumption? Consumption refers to the proper utilization of economic goods. However, goods and services could not be utilized unless you pay for it. So, yung consumption, ito yung paggamit mo ng product and services. Ginagamit natin ito kasi personal na needs and wants natin ito, like food, clothes, gadget, house. Papasok yung proper utilization kasi hindi lang natin siya basta gagamitin yung product and services. Gagamitin natin siya sa tama, like sa pinaka-personal na needs natin. And yung unless you pay it, ito yung pinaka-importanting part kasi hindi mo naman magagamit yung product and services kapag hindi mo siya nababayaran. And magkakaroon ka lang ng rights na gamitin yung mga products and services kapag nakapagbayad ka na.
Public finance. Public finance is how the government manages its money through collecting taxes, borrowing funds, and spending on public services for the people. Example, when the government collects income tax from workers, it uses that money to build and maintain public schools.
It helps the government provide what the country needs, like infrastructure, education, healthcare, and social programs. Example, when tax collection are not enough, the government borrows money to build projects like highways that improve transportation.
Public finance also ensures that every government agency like Department of Health or the Department of Education gets the right amount of budget.
And proper use of funds prevents overspending, reduces debt, and makes sure resources are used to benefit the public.
That's why public finance plays a big role in national development. It supports services that improve citizens' lives.
A country with strong public finance can deliver better service, maintain stability, and promote economic growth for everyone.
Logic is a tool used in economics to make sound decisions and draw valid conclusions. Why? Because logic helps economists analyze data, identify patterns, and make informed decisions by using reasoning and evidence. Example, a company uses logical analysis to determine the optimal price for a new product, considering factors like production costs, market demand, and competition. In economics, logic is used to evaluate arguments, identify biases, and make prediction about market trends and outcomes. By applying logical thinking, economists can develop more accurate models and make better decisions.
Mathematics. Mathematics deals with numbers, formulas, and calculations. Economists use math to solve economic problems, measure performance, and make predictions. And also, it helps compute costs, revenues, profit margins, growth rates, and many other economic indicators. For example, a company wants to know if they are earning or losing money. They compute total revenue or price times quantity sold, and for profit is total revenue minus total cost.
So another tools of economics is the statistic. So statistic is a branch of economics that focuses on using numbers to understand what is happening in the economy. It involves collecting, organizing, and analyzing data so economists can make decisions, test ideas, and solve problems. So economists use statistics to check if their assumptions or predictions are correct. So it helps them to see trends, measure economic performance, and improve business processes.
So a clear example is how economists calculate a country's GDP or gross domestic product to know if the economy is growing or slowing down. Another example is when a company uses statistical data to improve production. For instance, analyzing which time of the year sales are highest so they can increase inventory during those months. Statistics also help identify patterns such as unemployment trends or consumer spending habits. Through this, economists can give better recommendations like adjusting policies or reducing costs. In short, statistics turn raw numbers into useful information.
So let's move to the economic resources. So economic resources are what we call factors of production, are the things we use to produce goods and services. Ito yung mga kailangan para makagawa ng kahit anong produkto or servisyo, whether it's foods, clothes, buildings, or even apps and websites. So these resources are limited kaya may halaga sila and they give income sa may-ari nila.
Economic resources. Economic resources, also known as factors of production, are the resources used to produce and good services. The resources are by nature limited and therefore command a payment that becomes the income of the source owner. Ang economic resources daw po or factors of production ay mga pinag-kaugnayang yaman ginagamit upang makagawa po ng mga produkto at serbisyo. Dahil limitado ang mga ito po, nagkakaroon sila ng halaga at ang bayad sa paggamit ng mga ito ang nagiging kita ng may-ari ng yaman.
Land is one of the most important economic resources because it includes all the natural things around us that help people produce goods and services. Kapag sinabi nating land, hindi lang ito yung lupa na tinatapakan natin, kasama dito ang mga bundok, karagatan, tubig at kagubatan. In economic, land is considered as the gift of nature. Ibig sabihin, hindi ito gawa ng tao, pero malaki ang ambag nito sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya. Halimbawa, ang bukirin ay nagbibigay ng pagkain, ang kagubatan ay pinagmumula ng kahoy, at ang mga anyong tubig ay nagbibigay ng isda at nagiging daan ng transportasyon. Dahil dito, mas nagiging posible ang pagbuo ng mga produkto at paglikha ng kabuhayan ng mga maraming tao.
Resources. 1. Land. Land is important. It supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, and economic activities like agriculture, mining, transport, and communication system. Land is an important provider of food. It constantly cycling nutrients, holding water, soils, and air, and providing stability for organisms to grow. Everyday people can choose to be stewards the land to care of it.
Labor. Labor is a physical and human effort exerted in production. It covers manual workers like construction workers, machine operators, and production workers, as well as professional like nurses, lawyers, and doctors. The term also includes jeepney drivers, farmers, and fishermen. The income received by laborers is referred to as a wages. So labor as an economic resource is simply the work of people to produce the goods or services. It includes all human efforts. So included po dito yung mga both physical and mental na nagka-create po ng something value. So isipin na lang po natin na yung mga manpower or brain power is needed po for production. So ano nga ba yung mga nakapaloob po sa labor? So it includes work of all kinds of people, from those who use physical strength to those who used specialized knowledge and skills. So first is yung physical effort po nila. So yung mga manual work po natin is like nag-lifting, yung paggagawa po ng mga building or yung pagka-harvesting nga po. So the second one is yung mental effort po nila or yung skills nila. So by applying knowledge po, like yung mga pag-make po ng decisions or yung pag-create ng designs or even pag-provide po ng specialized services. So in exchange po for their labor na ginagawa ng mga workers is nakaka-receive po sila ng income. So typically ang tawag po sa nare-receive nila is yung wages or yung salary. So for example po, yun nga po sa nakalagay sa PPT is construction workers. So yung effort po na kino-contribute nila is physical labor. So sila po yung gumagawa ng mga buildings, houses, or yung pagmimixing po ng mga semento, and even yung pagbubuhat po ng mga materials. And lastly, last na example is yung mga teachers po natin. So yung kino-contribute po nila is mental labor and skill knowledge yung ginagawa nila by preparing lessons na ituturo nila sa students and pagbibigay ng mga grades sa students.
Labor refers to the number of people in the Philippines who are willing and able to work, all different wage level, and all that include all employed and unemployed, and who are willing actively looking for jobs. Example, millions of Filipino workers are going to overseas. Filipino are willing to sacrifice their job, go to abroad because of low wage and sector like overseas worker, like nurse and engineer, and also because of the labor migration to reduce the domestic labor supply.
So let's proceed to the economic resources. The third one is capital. In economics, capital refers to the man-made resources, not natural resources used to produce goods or services. These are called capital goods or capital resources. So capital goods include things like machines, tools, factories, buildings, vehicles, equipment, and also infrastructures and other durable items that helps produce other goods services. So capital is different from natural resources like land, raw materials, and labor, human effort. Capital is a produced means of production created by human through past production efforts then used to produce more goods. Because capital goods are durable and reusable, they allow production to be more efficient and larger in scale. For example, a machine in factory can produce many units of a production over many years, making production faster, cheaper, and more consistent. So, in this context, capital doesn't mean money. Money by itself doesn't produce goods or services. Instead, money called financial capital can be used to buy real capital, machines, building, like. So, real capital is valuable because it's the physical tools that make production possible. Financial capital is valuable because it helps acquire those tools.
Ang entrepreneur ay taong nagtatayo at nagpapatakbo ng sariling negosyo. Siya ang nag-iisip ng magandang idea kung anong product o serbisyo ang pwedeng ibenta sa tao. Siya rin ang nag-aayos ng puhunan, kagamitan at mga taong tutulong sa negosyo. Tinitiyak niya na maayos ang takbo ng negosyo sa araw-araw. Naghahanap siya ng paraan para lumago pa at kumita ang negosyo. Halimbawa, ang taong nagbukas ng sariling coffee shop ay isang entrepreneur.
Foreign exchange. Ito po ay tumutukoy sa dollars or dollars ng economy. So, part ito ng yaman ng bansa kasi kailangan natin ng foreign money, lalo na ang dollars, para sa international trade at pagbili raw ng materials from other countries. So, like for example, kapag bibili ang Pilipinas ng oil from other country, kailangan natin magbayad gamit ang dollars. Kung kaunti ang foreign exchange ng bansa, may hirapan itong bumili ng imported goods tulad ng rice o medicine. Kapag marami tayong dollars reserve, mas stable ang economy at mas madali tayong makipag-trade sa world market. Ang remittances ng OFWs ay nakakadagdag sa foreign exchange reserves ng Philippines. Kapag humina ang presyo laban sa dollars, tumataas naman ang presyo ng imported materials tulad ng wheat, steel at oil.
Ang foreign exchange ay tumutukoy sa dollars at iba pang foreign currency na hawak ng isang economic. Mahalaga ito kasi kailangan natin ng foreign currency, lalo na dollars, para makabili ng mga products and raw materials mula sa ibang bansa. Bahagi ito ng economic resources dahil nakaka-apekto ito sa kakayahan ng bansa na makipag-trade at magbayad para sa mga inaangat na product. Nagbibigay po ng example si Kuya Ryan Rojas. Thank you po.